What's going on, guys? We got a nice little 6-gamer here on DraftKings for Monday night. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn that notification bell. My name is Hart, and I do daily slate breakdowns for the NBA and NFL. Can't wait for the NFL playoffs. Going to have daily videos out for that, as well as my daily videos out for the NBA. So make sure to check out my channel, hit that like button. Check out my Twitter at HartDFS. Check out my free Patreon link down below, where I go more in depth on my core plays. And yeah, let's get into this slate breakdown. Before I get into the breakdown, just want to say follow me on Twitter at HartDFS. That's where I put up my core plays. As you can see earlier, the core plays are great. And then yeah, it was a very solid day for me on DFS, just in terms of PGA. I just entered one into the big main GPP, and I was sweating a takedown the whole afternoon. I was in 11th place for most of the afternoon. I was going up a little, a couple spots, down a couple spots. Unfortunately, only got 29th place. The last few holes did not do well for my guys, but I can't complain about $500. That's fantastic. I got a huge sweat there with the real possibility of taking down the 200K to first. But unfortunately, JT Poston got a triple bogey on the hole number 14, which was the easiest hole of the tournament. And he got a triple double. That really screwed me. That was the kind of the difference maker between me being able to take down, get a top 5, top 3, take down 200K to first, and 30th place was literally JT Poston and the points that he lost out on. And I think he was like a couple inches away from a hole-in-one that round as well. So just a little unfortunate there, but still can't complain about $500 off a single entry there for the PGA. It was a successful summer. So if you guys followed me on Twitter during the summer, we had a nice streak there of hitting some nice PGA bets, some PGA DFS plays. So yeah, looking to continue that into the new PGA season as well with NBA and NFL. So now that's out of the way. Let's get this 6-game slate breakdown. We're going to start off with the Pelicans in Washington. Obviously, the news with the Pelicans was that CJ was out last game, but now that he's back, not in the injury report, he's going against Washington. Great matchup here for CJ. In a competitive game, he should see close to 38, 39 minutes. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. Even if he doesn't shoot it well, he should be able to get you there with the points. So yeah, CJ looks like a great spend-up option at 8,500 on the slate. He's not like a priority, or let me rephrase it. It's not like a must-play like he was for like 2 of these slates. But now he's just more like solid play there at 8,500. Obviously, the 2 main guys are still out. Yeah, Zion's still out for a while. BI's still out. So CJ, clear play there. J-Val, more of a tournament option there. The minutes is just the big question mark on J-Val. Can he stay out of foul trouble, and can he get at least 30 minutes? If you can, you're going to get a game where he's probably going to go for 40 plus fantasy points. If not, he has that floor. So that's literally the last 2 games. If we're looking at the box score of J-Val, that's pretty much what you're getting and what you're banking on. Either he's going to go out there, get you 26, 24 fantasy points, he'll be in foul trouble, or he'll go out there, get 30 plus minutes and go for 40 plus fantasy points. So he's always a solid tournament option. And then from there, Najee has just continued his streak of being like the best fantasy point player on this team so far the past 2 games. I think the ownership is still going to flock to him. It's not a bad play, but if he's going to be super high owned, especially at 5.5, I just think it's way better to go to a guy like Trey Murphy, who's been playing terrible. We know he has a solid upside in the ceiling. He just hasn't been playing good. And the same thing with the Herb Jones. Herb Jones obviously is not the most offensively inclined player. Like out of those 3 wings, he's the least. Like he's more of just 3 and D. These guys are a little bit better scores. But yeah, I'd rather go to Murphy and Jones for the ownership percentage if Marshall's gonna be super popular again. Rest of the team, Larry Nance, if he's back, sure, you can take a shot on him. We know his minutes will eat into J-Val's, especially if J-Val's in foul trouble. With them back, don't think there's a need to get down to a guy like Alvarado or Hernan Gomez. On the Washington side, the big news is Beal is going to be still out, I believe. Yeah, he'll still be out. So Porzingis, Kuzma look great. I prefer Porzingis, but I think they're both really, really solid plays in this matchup here. Monte Morris is definitely a viable value play there. He should see close to 30 minutes. He does have some upside, especially at 4.8. Hachimura, a little bit of a down game there. Before that, he's pretty productive. So I do have a good amount of interest in all these Washington guys. Main two priorities are going to be Porzingis and Kuzma, just with their high upside, high ceiling. But these guys are definitely viable. Gafford saw 25 minutes. He got 30 fantasy points. So not going to be a high usage guy, but he could definitely get you there at their price tag. Really, really like Denny here. He should see mid-20s minutes, maybe even more than that. We know he can have very, very solid upside, 36, 39. He's going to be one of those guys who gets a little bit of everything: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. So really, really like Denny there at that price tag with Beal being out. He's going to be more of a playmaker, so is Kuzma. So really like the guys right there. And I like their props. Like if their props, their assists are, Denny will probably be like 2.53. I'd like the over there. If Kuzma's at like, 3.54, I'd like the over on him for assist as well. I mean, they really step it up with the playmaking. For Chicago and Boston, as I say every time with Chicago, really want to target this team. They let the other opposing team stars go off. So for Chicago though, DeRozan, Vooch, LaVine, it's kind of the same breakdown every time. Vooch and LaVine are the streaky ones right now for Chicago. They're both doing very, very solid. So yeah, especially LaVine. I mean, he's just shooting the ball great from three, over 50% the past 2 games, with that first game being 11-13. So yeah, if you want to ride the hot streak with them, sure, I don't mind it. I just don't love the price tag on a guy like Vooch there at 8,000, or even DeRozan at 9,000. I mean, we know these three have all the usage. If they're going to be in the game or winning, it's going to be because of these three, most likely one or if not 2 of them. But at the price points for DFS purposes, I just don't think there's a need to get to them. Just more secondary plays. Pat Williams, okay value. The price has come up to 4,400. Don't love that. Io, as I said, you want to pump the brakes, especially if Caruso's back. Io, there's just no real need to get to him. And then you can always take a shot on Drummond. If he gets mid-teens minutes, he could definitely get you there, but no real standout for me. Boston side, we have Tatum at the top, 10-7. He looks great. Same thing with Brown. I really want to, try to get at least one of these guys into my lineup. I prefer Tatum just because he has a safer floor, and we know he has a massive ceiling. He's not as scoring dependent like a guy like Jaylen Brown is, but they both look great. Smart, obviously the big news with him is he looks like he's doubtful. So we'll probably get White sliding into the starting lineup with Horford, Brown, Tatum, and I would assume Grant Williams will probably start. Maybe they start, Robert Williams. What to see with that, but I do think they'll still bring Brogdon off the bench. So with that news, where is he? Derek White there at 5,100. Solid price tag. We know he has some ceiling, some upside. He should see at least 25 minutes, probably closer to 30. So he looks like a decent play there. It's not like he's like 4.8 or 4.5 or 4.3 where he'd be like almost a lock. But yeah, he looks pretty solid there. It's going to give bumps to guys like Brown and Tatum. Brogdon off the bench, he should see mid-20s minutes, maybe closer to 30. He looks really solid, so I do like him a good amount right now, especially against the Bulls. I think he did very well against the Bulls in their previous game. Horford looks solid. He should see solid minutes just because Vooch plays a lot. They're going to play Robert Williams a lot as well. So I do like a good amount of interest in these cheaper Celtics as well. Grant Williams, he should see mid-20s minutes. Don't mind him, but I'd prefer getting to a guy like Robert who should see, as you can see, he's massive, massive upside if he can get the minutes. So I do like a lot of these Celtics guys in this matchup. For Milwaukee, obviously a little bit of a fluke there with Giannis, his worst game of the season, 12.5 fantasy points in 22 minutes. Looking for him to bounce back. So obviously a slower pace matchup here against the Knicks, but Giannis looks solid. Jrue Holiday, I really like the price tag here. Obviously the minutes have been great. They lost a ton because of that blowout, so he didn't play a full game. But it was nice to see him play 19 minutes. He's on pace to play his normal amount of minutes. So do you think we expect Jrue to start, play his normal allotment of minutes, and that price tag? I think it's a very, very solid price to take a shot on Jrue. The rest of the team, Bobby's there. Sure, you can get to him. He's been decent recently. Don't love the price tag. Brook, I do have a good amount of interest in Brook Lopez at this price tag. Once again, lost minutes because of the blowout. Before that, should see anywhere from 28 to 36 minutes, depending on how he's playing. And we know he's massive upside with the block. So I do like him and Jrue Holiday the best here for this, what am I trying to say? Bucks side. But that's really it. So don't have any interest in the value for the Knicks side. We have Randall, 10-4. He's been playing fantastic this season. Not the best matchup going against Giannis, but you can't really argue with his box score. His price is well deserved. I don't feel great playing him, but if you want to, you can definitely do that. He should be a little bit lower owned just because of the matchup here. Brunson's been playing fantastic. As I said, they're playing their starters into the ground. They're playing just a ton of minutes, so definitely viable to get a piece from them. Doubtful for Barrett, so we'll get Quickly starting again alongside Grimes. I think my interest would probably be with Quickly or Grimes here, just because their price tag's a little bit better than paying 8-1 for Brunson, 10-4 for Randall. You just kind of feel about that. Mitchell Robinson, should see the minutes. He's just got to stay out of foul trouble. If he does, he's got a massive ceiling. Should have a little bit safer of a floor with minutes just because of Brook Lopez. and the Bucks are big. So we can definitely see more Robinson. That's really it. No interest in the value. Moving on to the Spurs. The big news here is Vassell is going to be out for a while. Keldon Johnson's questionable. That's very annoying because if he's out, we're going to have to look to these other Spurs guys. Trey Jones will step up. Portal's questionable as well. Zach Collins did get the start. Played 34 minutes. He's very, very productive. So hopefully Portal and Keldon Johnson play because I really don't want to roster these value guys. But we never know with Pop. We'll just have to wait for that news there. But, if they're out, obviously we're going to have to look to Trey Jones to step up offensively. Zach Collins would be viable. Jeremy would look decent. He'll look to shoot more, but I'd prefer getting to guys like Romeo or, even Josh Richardson here. He'll shoot a ton. He'll play a decent amount of minutes. We can get to even less value than that. It's just going to be ugly. We'll have to wait for that news there. For Memphis, big news is Ja. He should be good to go. He missed the first end of that back-to-back tonight. So it looks like he'll be good to go tomorrow. Love him at that price tag. It's just, will this game blow out or will it stay close? That's a big question mark. Jaren Jackson Jr., another very solid game from him. 5 blocks, 3 steals. We know he has that massive upside. Desmond Bane, even with Ja back, I don't mind going to him. We saw those a few games where he was getting mid-20s minutes. He was doing a little bit of everything. So I do like the top 3 for me a good amount. Steven Adams is back. Don't mind with that price tag, but just still prefer getting to the main 3 guys for Memphis, and that's really it. Moving on to LA. LeBron, 10-9. Don't think I can do it. He's been playing out of his mind, especially for like a 45-year-old, but I just don't think I can get to him in this matchup here at that price tag. Russ, I do like him as a tournament option. I mentioned that in that last video. He went off for 54. We know he's massive upside if he can play 30-plus minutes. Really like the minutes the past 3 games. I know one of the games, I think it was a Miami one, there was no LeBron, but the past 2 with LeBron, he's seen 31 and 34. And he's been very, very efficient, 7 to 14, 52 fantasy points, 54. So I do like Russ a good amount here in this tougher matchup. Bryant, solid price tag. He's been great, but I just don't trust him going against Jokic. If you do, you can definitely play him. It'll definitely lower his ownership a little bit. But yeah, I just, solid price tag. He's been great. I just don't trust the matchup against Jokic, DFS-wise. Schroeder's there. You really need LeBron to be out for these other guys to be viable. Sure, you can get to Schroeder. Seen a decent amount of minutes past 4. I guess he's been seeing a lot of minutes recently. So I guess Schroeder's viable there at 5.7. Don't love it, but he's seen some upside, especially with Reeves and Walker still out. So that does solidify some minutes for Schroeder. Pat Bev, don't think you need to do that. That's just absolute pain. I don't think there's a need to dip down in these guys. Sure, you can take a shot and win in if Bryant gets in foul trouble, but no real need to get those cheaper guys on the Lakers. Just stick with the main guys. For the Denver, obviously a great matchup here for Jokic. He looks fantastic as a spend up if you can get up to him. Jamal Murray, I do like him a good amount here as well. He's had massive upside. Haven't seen in the past 4 because that Miami game only shot it 9 times. Minnesota game, a little bit of a blowout there. He lost minutes, or he lost some usage. Clippers game, huge blowout. He was on fire to start that game. And then Cleveland, he just hasn't been playing well the past week. But before that, 46, 58, 22, then 38. So we know he has decent upside. So I don't mind him there. Gordon, more of a secondary option for me. No real priority for me to get to Gordon, even though it's a very solid matchup. I wouldn't mention that. So I think I'd like Jokic and Gordon, then Murray for me in order. And the rest of the team are just kind of there. And then moving on to Orlando and Sacramento. For Orlando, we know Paolo's the main guy. He's the stud of this team. So 8-2, he looks decent. Not a real priority for me. Franz, a little bit too pricey here for me at 7-1 with everyone kind of back and usage spread out. Wendell, he looks decent at 6-4. Pretty solid matchup here. It's just the minutes, he's only seen around 30-ish. They do have a decent amount of bigs. We'll have to see if he's able to separate himself and get about 35 minutes a game. Markelle Fultz, don't mind him. As a solid play there at 6,100, even with those guards back. It looks like he's kind of secured his role as a starting point guard for now. And he's been, pretty productive when he's out there. As I said with Mo Wagner, too pricey. Only going to see about 15 and 20 minutes at most, unless there's foul trouble. Cole Anthony, decent play off the bench, 5-2. Not a lot sticks out, but you can definitely get to these guys. Gary Harris starts, but I only saw 24 minutes. So I think if you want to key on, if you want to hone in on some guys, I'd say Paolo's your main priority. And then secondary plays, I don't mind Fultz or Cole Anthony. And then moving on to Sacramento, we have Sabonis at the top, 10-5. I love Sabonis. I mean, the price tag is a little bit elevated. It feels a little bit pricey. He's had a lot of turnovers recently. 4, 4, 2, 0, but then 7. So it's definitely hurt his fantasy score. But I mean, the minutes are great on Sabonis. We know he's pretty close to triple double upside. So really like Sabonis here as an anchor for the lineup, especially in this matchup against Orlando. Rest of the team, Fox is doing decent. Herter's there. Price came up a little bit. Barnes, Monk. Really, it's just kind of the top for me, Sabonis. And then moving down to Monk, who's always just a solid tournament option. He's pretty boomer bust. And then Keegan Murray is a decent value play there. I mean, he's pretty much getting mid-20s fantasy points every game. And at 4-3, I do think he's still a little bit too cheap. So that's going to do it today for the slate breakdown, guys. If you guys liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Check out my Twitter to stay updated with my core plays for tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.